Welcome, my friend, and thank you for joining me today. I want to ask you something important. Have you ever noticed how toxic people don't fear your anger, but they fear your silence? Silence is unpredictable. It doesn't give them control. And you don't have to fight them to win. You just have to become unreadable. Today, I'll show you 7 silent behaviors that make toxic people fear you, even when you say nothing. When you stop reacting to their chaos, stop arguing, and choose peace over drama, you become the one in control. It's not about confronting them, it's about choosing to remain silent and strong. If you stay with me until the end, you'll see how this shift in behavior can empower you, giving you the strength to navigate toxic people without getting caught in their trap. And before we dive in, I have one small favor to ask. If you find this video helpful, please click the like button. That one click helps more people find this valuable content. Leave a comment, share your thoughts, and subscribe for more lessons like this. But most of all, please like this video. It really makes a difference. Here are 7 silent behaviors that make toxic people fear you, even when you say nothing. Number 1. You observe everything but react to nothing. Toxic people thrive on emotional reactions. They manipulate situations to provoke anger, guilt, or frustration, seeking to control your emotions. They want you loud, defensive, or upset because it validates their behavior. But when you stay silent and refuse to engage, you take away their power. This silence forces them to face their own actions and guilt, something they are often unwilling to confront. Toxic individuals often bait others into emotional reactions to keep control. They want you to argue, defend yourself, or react impulsively, feeding their need for drama. When you choose to remain silent, you stop playing their game. This unexpected shift confuses them. They expect a response, but when you don't react, it's like pulling the rug out from under them. They no longer have control over your emotions or the situation. Your silence doesn't just protect you, it punishes them. Toxic people often act from a place of insecurity, and when you don't engage, they're forced to reckon with the consequences of their behavior. This silence, instead of escalating the conflict, shines a light on their own guilt, discomfort, or confusion. It's a powerful reminder that they can no longer manipulate you with their emotional tactics. By observing but not reacting, you set strong boundaries. Toxic people often test boundaries, trying to provoke reactions to gain control. When you stay calm, you show them that you will not be controlled by their behavior. This sends a clear message: their negativity will no longer affect you. Over time, they'll realize that their usual tactics don't work, and they'll either back off or move on to someone else. Remaining silent also gives you peace of mind. Instead of getting caught up in their emotional chaos, you remain grounded. You protect your emotional energy and mental well-being by not allowing them to manipulate you. You stop internalizing their negativity and create space for healthier, more positive interactions. 2. You don't argue. You withdraw your energy.
When dealing with toxic people, arguing is rarely a productive solution. Toxic individuals thrive on conflict and drama. They often use manipulation tactics like gaslighting, blame shifting, or emotional blackmail to drag you into arguments. Their goal is not to resolve any issues, but to dominate the conversation, make you feel inferior, or control the situation. Engaging with them in arguments only feeds their need for attention, validation, and control. By continuing to argue, you are essentially playing their game, which only increases their power over you and drains your energy. Toxic people know how to push your buttons. They'll say things meant to provoke anger or frustration, and when you respond emotionally, they feel validated. The argument becomes about winning, not solving the problem. In their minds, if they can get you to defend yourself or get upset, they've already won. This cycle continues, often leading to more conflict without any resolution. This is why withdrawing your energy rather than engaging in a back-and-forth argument is so powerful. When you stop reacting, you take away their main source of control, your emotional response. Toxic people thrive on being able to provoke emotions in others, whether it's through anger, fear, or guilt. When you don't give them that satisfaction, they lose their grip on the situation. By refusing to argue, you avoid feeding into their toxic behavior, and instead you regain control over your own emotions and energy. Withdrawing your energy doesn't mean you are disengaging from the situation or ignoring it. It means you are choosing not to play into their drama. It's an act of self-preservation. By not responding to their provocations, you stop giving them access to your mental and emotional space. This sends a clear message that their tactics no longer have the power to affect you. When you choose to withdraw your energy, the toxic person is left to deal with the reality of their actions without being able to blame or manipulate you. They may try to escalate things or provoke you further, but the more you remain silent, the more uncomfortable they will become. Silence forces them to face their own behavior and guilt, something they would rather avoid. Your calmness exposes their instability and leaves them without the emotional reaction they crave. Over time, withdrawing your energy will make you less susceptible to manipulation. Toxic people will begin to realize that they can no longer control you with their emotional triggers, and they may stop trying to provoke you altogether. Ultimately, withdrawing your energy not only protects your peace, but also empowers you by setting strong boundaries.
3. You choose distance over drama. Toxic people thrive on chaos and emotional drama. They create unnecessary conflict to gain attention or control, often using guilt or manipulation to provoke a reaction. The more you engage with their behavior, the more power they have over your emotions. One of the most effective ways to protect yourself is by choosing distance over drama. Instead of reacting to their provocation, stepping away emotionally or physically strips them of their ability to manipulate or control you. Distance doesn't mean completely cutting them off, but it does mean not allowing their drama to consume you. By withdrawing from the conflict, you protect your mental and emotional health. When you stop reacting to their negativity, you reclaim your peace. Toxic individuals often look for someone to engage with their problems, but by choosing distance, you no longer feed into their need for emotional chaos. Choosing distance confuses toxic people. They thrive on conflict and expect you to react, but when you remain silent or disengaged, they lose control.
They may try to escalate their behavior to provoke a response, but your distance leaves them without power. This forces them to face their own behavior and may even cause them to reflect on their actions. In time, they may stop trying to manipulate you, or at the very least, realize they can no longer control your emotions. Emotional distance is just as important as physical distance. It means not allowing their negativity to affect you. When you create emotional boundaries, you stop internalizing their issues and take control of your emotional state. You stop feeling responsible for managing their problems and focus on your own well-being. This helps you remain calm and grounded no matter how they try to pull you into their drama. By choosing distance over drama, you take away the toxic person's power to manipulate you and protect your peace. Over time, this helps you maintain emotional stability, set healthy boundaries, and create space for positive relationships. It empowers you to live a life free from unnecessary conflict and keeps you focused on what truly matters, your own mental and emotional health. 4. You stay kind, even when they deserve coldness. Staying kind, even when toxic people deserve coldness, is one of the most powerful strategies for maintaining your peace and disarming their negative behavior. Toxic individuals often thrive on conflict, manipulation, and provoking emotional reactions from others. They expect you to get upset, defensive, or frustrated when they attack or challenge you. When you don't give them the emotional reaction they want, it throws them off balance and exposes their instability. Instead of engaging in their negativity, responding with kindness and composure allows you to maintain control of the situation and prevents you from being dragged into their chaos. Kindness in the face of provocation is not about being weak or allowing yourself to be mistreated. It is a sign of emotional strength and self-control. Toxic people often try to trigger anger or frustration, but when you remain calm and kind, it denies them the satisfaction of seeing you react emotionally. This can be incredibly disarming, as it takes away the emotional fuel they need to continue their manipulative behavior. They expect a confrontation, but instead they are met with a calm, composed response, which destabilizes their control over the situation. Remaining kind exposes their instability. Toxic people are often emotionally immature and rely on others to validate their behavior. When you don't react as they expect, it forces them to confront their own actions. They can no longer blame you for their emotional outbursts or manipulate the situation to suit their narrative. By staying kind, you show them that their negative behavior won't impact your emotional state, which makes them feel uncomfortable and unsettled. They are left to reflect on their own actions, as they no longer have the ability to provoke you into playing their game. The power of kindness is that it not only protects you, but also prevents the toxic person from using your emotions to fuel their drama. When you react with anger or frustration, you're simply giving them more ammunition, but by maintaining kindness, you shut down their attempts to manipulate you. Over time, they may realize that they cannot control you through emotional tactics and may begin to back off. The more you show kindness in the face of negativity, the less impact their behavior will have on you. In the long term, choosing kindness contributes to your own emotional well-being. Instead of getting entangled in their toxic behavior, you remain focused on your own peace and growth. Kindness doesn't mean accepting mistreatment, it means you are choosing not to engage with the toxicity. This protects your mental and emotional health, allowing you to rise above the drama. It also allows you to set healthier boundaries where you don't let toxic people dictate your emotions or behaviors. 5. You let karma handle the justice. Letting karma handle justice, rather than seeking revenge, is one of the most effective ways to deal with toxic people. When wronged by someone, the natural urge may be to retaliate, but chasing revenge only keeps you emotionally tied to the toxic person. It drains your energy and keeps you stuck in negativity. Instead, trust that karma will address their actions in due time. By releasing the need for control, you protect your peace and avoid getting further involved in their drama. Toxic people often cause harm through manipulation, deceit, or betrayal, and it's easy to feel they deserve punishment. However, seeking revenge only perpetuates the cycle of toxicity, pulling you deeper into their emotional mess. Instead of wasting time plotting retribution, focus on moving forward with your life. Karma, in its own way, ensures they face consequences for their actions, even if you don't directly witness it. Letting karma take its course also protects you from sinking to the toxic person's level. Revenge is fueled by emotional reactions, and engaging in it often lowers your own integrity. By stepping back, you maintain emotional strength and dignity. Your decision not to retaliate shows you are focused on positive growth rather than being consumed by anger or frustration. Over time, you may realize that the best revenge is living well. When toxic people see that their behavior no longer affects you, they may experience regret or isolation. Your ability to move forward without seeking revenge sends a powerful message. You are strong and resilient, not defined by their negativity. 6. You value peace more than people-pleasing. One of the most powerful shifts you can make when dealing with toxic people is to prioritize peace over the need to please others. Toxic individuals often thrive on manipulation and control, and one of their most common tactics is to exploit your desire to be liked or accepted. They may try to guilt-trip you, pressure you into actions that benefit them, or make you feel responsible for their emotions. If you constantly seek to please them in an effort to avoid conflict or maintain their approval, you are giving them power over your peace of mind. When you value peace more than people-pleasing, you start setting boundaries that protect your mental and emotional well-being. You stop sacrificing your happiness just to avoid disappointing others. It's about recognizing that your peace is more important than gaining someone else's approval, especially when that person is toxic. Toxic people are often demanding and self-centered, and they will try to make you feel obligated to meet their needs, regardless of how it impacts you. By choosing peace over pleasing them, you take back control of your life. The act of prioritizing peace means learning to say no without guilt. You stop agreeing to things that don't align with your values or that will drain your energy. It may feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you've been conditioned to put others' needs before your own. However, setting boundaries is essential for maintaining your peace and emotional health. When you constantly put others first, especially toxic individuals, you end up feeling resentful, stressed, and overwhelmed. Over time, this can erode your self-esteem and peace of mind. Choosing peace over people-pleasing restores balance and allows you to focus on what truly matters. Toxic people will test your boundaries, but when you value peace more than their approval, you stop bending to their demands. You recognize that pleasing them is often a fruitless effort that leads to further manipulation and frustration. Instead, you give yourself permission to live authentically without the need to constantly meet their unrealistic expectations. In doing so, you create space for healthier, more positive relationships where mutual respect and understanding are prioritized over control and manipulation. Another key aspect of choosing peace is understanding that you cannot control how others react. No matter how hard you try to please toxic people, they will never be satisfied because their needs are driven by their own dysfunction. By focusing on your own peace, you stop trying to fix or manage their emotions. You allow them to take responsibility for their actions, while you focus on maintaining a peaceful, balanced life. 7. You let them wonder what changed. You stop explaining yourself. When dealing with toxic people, one of the most powerful shifts you can make is to stop explaining yourself. Toxic individuals often thrive on creating confusion and manipulating situations to keep control over you. They may challenge your decisions, question your motives, or try to guilt-trip you into justifying your actions. By constantly explaining yourself, you give them a form of emotional control, allowing them to dictate the conversation and your emotional responses. Choosing to stop explaining yourself is a way of reclaiming that control and protecting your peace. Toxic people are skilled at using your words against you. They may twist your explanations to fuel their own narrative, making you feel defensive or guilty. The more you explain, the more they feel empowered to continue pushing your boundaries. By engaging in a back and forth with them, you risk getting trapped in their emotional chaos. However, when you stop explaining, you stop playing their game. You no longer allow them to manipulate or provoke a reaction from you, and this throws them off balance. When you choose silence or brevity in response to toxic behavior, you create an emotional distance between yourself and the toxic person. Instead of defending your actions, you detach from their need for validation or justification. This forces them to confront their own behavior rather than using you as a scapegoat. They can no longer deflect their issues onto you or manipulate you into defending yourself. The discomfort they feel in this silence can be a powerful form of punishment, as it leaves them with no outlet for their negative energy. One of the key aspects of stopping the explanations is the ability to set and maintain clear boundaries. Toxic people often test your limits, seeing how much they can push before you react. If you continuously explain your decisions or justify your boundaries, you inadvertently lower those limits. Each time you give in to their demands for explanations, you reinforce the idea that their needs come before your own well-being. By stopping the explanations, you solidify your boundaries and show that you are in control of your life and decisions. You no longer feel the need to seek approval or validation from someone who thrives on controlling others. Additionally, when you stop explaining yourself, you also stop internalizing the toxic person's behavior. Toxic individuals often try to make you feel responsible for their emotions, actions, or outcomes. They want you to believe that you must continuously explain or apologize for everything, even when it's not your fault. By refusing to engage in these emotional games, you stop taking on the burden of their toxicity. You shift the focus back to where it belongs, on them. This allows you to preserve your emotional well-being and prevents you from getting caught up in their manipulative tactics. Letting them wonder what changed is a form of self-empowerment. Toxic people are accustomed to having control over others' emotions, and when you stop engaging with their attempts to provoke you, they are left to deal with their own insecurity and frustration. They may try to escalate the situation or accuse you of being distant or cold. However, you remain composed and unaffected, sending a clear message that their behavior no longer has the power to control you. Over time, this lack of response may make them reconsider their approach. The more you stop explaining, the less they can manipulate you, and the less control they have over your emotions. By stopping the cycle of explanations and letting toxic people wonder what changed, you take back your peace and emotional well-being. This simple shift not only strengthens your boundaries, but also disarms their manipulation, leaving you empowered to live authentically and without the weight of their negativity. Remember, you don't owe anyone an explanation for protecting your peace. If this resonated with you, please like, comment with your thoughts, and subscribe for more insightful content. Your support truly makes a difference.